Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you coming back to the channel, and I also appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. And in today's topic or today's video, I'm just gonna be unpacking what CPDs are, or continuous professional development. So basically, I'm just going to be unpacking what I think you need to know when it comes to CPDs. So I'll be talking about why CPDs are important. Also, dwell much on who should record CPDs. I'll also talk a little bit about how best you can maintain your CPD record. And I'll also talk a little bit on what counts as a CPD record. And then I'll give you about 6 points as to why I think it's important for you to be recording your CPDs, besides it being a requirement by Social Work England or any other body that you might be registered with. And towards the end of the video, I'll also put the inquiries email for Social Work England if you want to ask them further in terms of what's anything to do with CPD recordings, really. And the disclaimer I want to put today is to say that I'm not talking on behalf of Social Work England in this video. No, I'm just giving nuggets from my own practice and from my own experiences. And the hope is that the information I'm sharing today will enable somebody to grasp one or two things and be able to run with and be able to actually have that knowledge in your own career development, in your own profession, really. So in terms of today's video, if you need to ask anything specific to your situation, please consult with Social Work England, and they will gladly reply to you, and they'll be able to assist you with your specific need. So in today's topic, continuing professional development. What is continuing professional development? That's the first thing I'm going to be talking about. Remember, continuing professional development is a commitment to an ongoing lifelong learning, a commitment to lifelong ongoing learning, which means learning doesn't end, so to speak. Even if it means you've graduated today with a master's degree or with PhD in social work or with a first degree in social work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna stop learning. You need to continuously develop yourself, as a professional, so that you keep track of the trends of what's going on as well. So I would define it as a learning, as learning experiences that help you or that shape you to develop and improve your professional practice. That's what we call continuous professional development. And by so speaking, it also includes activities such as, for example, refreshing your existing knowledge through webinars, through conferences, through training workshops, and through self-directed learning, through reflection, and through group supervision, for example. As long as you keep track, as long as you keep records of the activities that you are doing as part of your own professional continuous development learning, then you can actually use those to evidence to Social Work England that you are actually continuing to learn as a professional and to advance your own career as well. Obviously, it helps you to keep track of the latest developments in our field of social work. So that's also one reason why it is important. But I'll touch about why it is important down below, really. I just need to point out that, of the 6 standards that we have from Social Work England, remember, CPD is part of standard number 4. So it is a requirement that you need to be making sure that you are continuously developing yourself as a profession, as a professional, sorry. So it is essential, for you to make sure that you are embarking on regular learning activities and regular reflective sessions or reflective activities that will help you to develop as a professional, really. And by so doing, it means that you're actually meeting CPD, you're actually meeting standard number 4 of our, Social Work England's professional standards, because remember, there are 6 of them, but standard number 4 talks about the need for you as a social worker to make sure that you continuously develop yourself as a professional. So let me dive straight into why or who should record CPDs. Some people may think that recording CPDs is only done by people who are practicing on the front line. That is totally wrong. the requirement to do and record CPD applies to all registered social workers. As long as you're a registered social worker, you need to make sure that it's a requirement for you to be recording all the CPD, to actually do and also record those CPD activities that you would have done. So by so doing, even if you're on maternity leave, you still need to make sure that you continuously develop yourself professionally, because it will be easier for you to come back to work and knowing the trends. Because remember, a week, I always tell colleagues that a week is a long time in social work. So imagine if you're on maternity leave for the whole, 12 months really. That's a long time for you to actually miss out on a lot of things that would be happening whilst you are away from work. Even when you take long absence from work, for example, a couple of months from work, you need to make sure that you continuously, if you do self-directed learning, read some articles to make sure that you keep yourself abreast in terms of the trends of what's going on in the profession. So it includes those on extended leave, they need to be recording as CPDs. It includes those on paternity or adoption leave, long-term sick leave, or bereavement, long-term bereavement leave. They need to be recording and making sure that they are undertaking continuous, learning activities. And those individuals who are not currently working in the social work field, as long as you're registered, you need to record. And also those who are non-case holding, because the other one might say, I'm a manager, so I don't need to record. You need to record because you're a registered social worker, even though you're a non-case holding social worker, whether you're a manager or an educator at uni or a commissioner in a local authority, you still need to make sure that you record your CPDs. As long as you're registered, you need to be registering your CPDs. So you need to obviously continuously demonstrate your fitness to practice. That's the reason why, Social Work England would want you to continuously record your CPDs. So in terms of recording CPD, the only tip I'll give is to make sure that regularly record your CPD on your Social Work England online account. And doesn't necessarily mean you need to submit it, but regularly record. Even if you record more than the required number, remember, it helps you to have more recorded than less recorded. You wouldn't want Social Work England to point at you to say you haven't recorded. Rather, you would want them to look into your account and see that you have been learning throughout the year. Because the advantage of doing that is that if you have done a training in January and recorded, you've done another one in February recorded, they can actually see the trend that you are actually keeping abreast, or you're actually, undertaking, a CPD activity almost every month or a couple of months, stuff like that, rather than recording all of them towards the end of November. Because sometimes you might even miss the dates correctly. You don't even know the dates when you did A, B, C, and D. And the other tip also I'll give is to make sure that when you finish off a training or a webinar or whatever it is, record it somewhere in your own journal or in your own place where you record your CPD, so that you record the date that you had the training, the time that you had the training, who was the trainer, what was the training all about, and possibly a simple narrative of what it is that you have learned from it, or your own reflections of what you have learned from it, so that when it comes to you recording now on your online account, your Social Working and online account, it will be easier because it's things which are already there. It's a matter of just picking it up and put it in the right spaces and then expand where you need to expand. So annual recording of CPD, remember, it's also a requirement before you re-register or before you pay your annual subscription. So you need to be, you need to make sure that you actually record at least 4 or 5 times per year, which is a sign of good practice, really. So I think I've moved on from how you can record on or tips on how you can record your CPDs. Then I'm moving on to the topic, what counts as CPD, or I'm moving on to the question, what counts as CPD? So continuous professional development activities can take various forms. Remember, self-directed learning is one of them. Attending webinars is one of them. Attending conferences at your own workplace is one of them. Attending mandatory trainings at your workplace is also one of them. Attending group supervision at your workplace is also one form of, having a CPD recorded. And also your own reflection on things that you would have done, own reflection on a particular case that you've worked on, it's also a recordable CPD activity as well. So if you have been reading relevant materials, if you've been reflecting on your practice, if you've been receiving feedback even from clients, which is pointing to any of the standards, of the 6 standards that we have from social working, then you can actually use that as a recorded, CPD activity. Remember, it's about continuous learning and improvement. So things that you have learned in the previous year, there's no point in you recording the same issues, because, or even if you have repeated them, look for something else new that you can record in your online account. And then moving on to the question, why is CPD recording important? I've also touched a little bit earlier on in the video why it is important. One, I will say the first and foremost, the important thing is to make sure that, or the first reason is that it evidences or it demonstrates your fitness to practice. That's reason number one. You are able to evidence and demonstrate your fitness to practice by recording these CPDs. You're actually showing social working that you are still a fit person to practice and you are up to date with what's going on as well. As you know, many regulated professions, they do record CPDs. So it's one way of evidencing to the regulators that you are keeping abreast of what's happening and you are actually subjecting yourself to further learning, even though you have graduated years ago. For people like me, who have graduated 20 years ago, I think it helps me because there are new trends which are coming up, which may not necessarily be there when I graduated in 2004. So you will find that by continuously developing yourself as a professional, it's really important for you because it keeps you abreast with what's going on. So another point is around skill enhancement. It allows you as a professional to continuously improve your skills and knowledge around social work or any other profession that you are belonging to. It also ensures that you stay up to date with latest development or latest trends in the field. The other important thing also is it helps with your career development, because remember, you never know what it is that you're going to be asked the next time you attend an interview. So when you record regular, when you attend regular CPD activities, as a professional, it helps you to stand out in your industry. If you deliver such content as well, it helps you to stand out in your own industry as well. And as you know, employers do value employees who actively seek growth elsewhere, or who actively or partake in others' learning. Because remember, one of the requirements, one of the standards of the 6 standards from social working in England is to make sure that you partake in someone's learning as well. So by doing CPD activities, or for example, if you've delivered a training to your team, or if you've delivered a training to your local authority, you're actually evidencing that you are actively seeking your growth as a professional and the growth of others as well. And it's easy, for you to be recognized in a local authority if you are somebody who is active out there in terms of, delivering content and delivering training to others as well, and or enabling others to learn. So you can actually create better opportunities for yourself. You are confident in interviews. You are confident in in discussions with others and so forth. So that's another way that it helps you as well. And then it also helps you to evidence your ability to maintain competence as a professional. For example, you need to complete a certain number of CPD activities to maintain your license. So besides being re-registered by Social Work England, it helps you to prove that you are still competent as a professional, and you're actually providing high quality services as a social worker as well. And then it also provides you with opportunities for networking as well as collaboration by attending the CPD events, webinars. It doesn't necessarily matter that this webinar needs to be provided by your own local authority. I've attended webinars delivered by Hampshire, for example. I've attended webinars delivered by Leeds or Yorkshire, local authorities in Yorkshire or local authorities in London. It doesn't necessarily matter that it's your local authority. It can be, as long as you feel that it's going to be beneficial to your own learning, then you need to attend those excellent or networking opportunities that are presented in front of you. It also gives you an opportunity to connect with your peers, exchange ideas, collaborate on projects, or it could be writing, or it could be anything else that you can collaborate on as well. It helps you to maintain a strong professional network as well as an individual, and then hence your career development opportunities as well. And it also helps you to adapt to change. That's also one important thing. Our industry as social workers, it's an evolving industry. Things do change. I mentioned about it already. There's technology these days. There's AI, there's regulatory changes going on, market trends which are changing and so forth. So it helps you to keep track of all those things as well. Remember, with AI, there are many things that AI can help us as social workers. For example, minuting of minutes. It doesn't necessarily need to take you forever, as long as you've got the right tools, right equipment within your local authority to do that. It can take you 5-10 minutes. You're already done with minutes, but sometimes when you don't have it, means you need to start typing, which we used to do a couple of years ago. But with the advent of AI, it actually helps you to summarize the content of the meeting and stuff like that. So it helps you to actually make sure that you adapt to the changes which are also ongoing in our profession. And remember, learning opportunity presents with personal satisfaction as well. So it's important for you to make sure that it allows you to explore your interest as an individual. It allows you to feel a sense of satisfaction that you have learned something new. As I've said earlier on in the beginning of the video, learning never ends. It's an ongoing process, and there's a sense of accomplishment that you get once you have achieved something, once you have gotten that certificate and stuff like that. So remember, CPD is not limited to formal training sessions as well. It can include reading industry journals. Remember, I mentioned about self-directed learning. It can include partaking in online courses on Eventbrite, on community care, whichever website that you partake in, as long as you record them and evidence that this is what you have done, this is what you have learned from that particular activity as well. So keep investing yourself in your own professional development. This is really, really important. It's an opportunity for you to grow, opportunity for you to reflect and enhance your skills. So as social workers, as family support workers, as social care professionals, we need to invest in our own learning, in our own growing. If you want to ask more concerning CPDs, if you're a social worker, then you can email Social Work England on cpd.inquiries@socialworkengland.org.uk. I'll put it in the it will also appear on your screen. Then you'll be able to email them and ask them anything else that you want to ask concerning CPDs. Remember, your dedication to your own professional development makes a difference to you and to others who are surrounding you. So it's not only about you, but it's also about others surrounding you. With those few words, thank you so much for watching until the end. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. And I thank you so much.